Good afternoon. I have no idea what anyone's saying, but I'll just say a few words. I want to thank Mayor Domenici's office for all his help, because filming in such a splendid city as this is difficult, and I want to be able to get all the beauty of the city, and through your office, we're able to do that. Thank you very much.
So I'm Martha De Laurentiis, and I'm just thrilled that you're here to share our excitement. We start tomorrow, and let me introduce Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter, cioè
Anthony
Hopkins.
You don't need a translation for Anthony. E la Clarice Starling, Julianne Moore.
I think we're all going to really enjoy ourselves here. Thank you very much.
The technicalities of making a movie sometimes can get a little tedious, but they pay me to do it, and I'm fine with that. I don't mind. It's all a lot of fun anyway.
It's an interesting movie because there are kind of a million different tones in it. So the pace of it has changed from week to week, and the tone of it's changed. And so that's been really fun.
There's always trepidation when you're going down a route with somebody who's actually been there before and done it. And, am I going to be allowed into the room, or am I going to be the organizer?
Florence is beautiful. Whether you have gray skies, blue skies, green skies, it's all with the backdrop of the river, the beautiful Tuscan hills behind the city, the ancient history that it has, that it shows in the architecture.
Florence is like the heart of Italy. So to be working on an American film with a foreign crew in the Italian city, I feel like a foreigner myself.
Everybody enjoy Florence. We receive fantastic cooperation from old city of Florence, start from the mayor. They give at disposition everything we need, almost for free.
Who wouldn't want to live there and shoot there and be in every palazzo, or invited into the Palazzo Vecchio, and anywhere you went, they opened up their doors that we could shoot there.
There are some days that Florence is about 1 million tourists, and all city has about 500,000 citizens. So that means that there are twice so many tourists a day. So we see it. When we shoot on some locations, we just cannot get rid of them, and it's very difficult.
Move on without stopping, please. Ritorniamo tutti in posizione, dai. Tutti a posto, ragazzi. Chi stava di qua, di qua. Ritorniamo tutti in posizione, dai. Tutti a posto, ragazzi. Chi stava di qua, di qua. Move on without stopping, please. Ragazzi, dai, avanti.
It would become well publicized, or word of mouth. We were there making a movie. We were on the Palazzo Vecchio, we were on the Ponte Vecchio, we were everywhere, and wherever we went, there were crowds of people shouting, "Hannibal, Hannibal." I felt like Mick Jagger a bit, I didn't know, or Sting, I'd never experienced that before. It was a lot of fun, and people wanted me to sign the book and sign autographs and have photographs, and I did, and I enjoyed that, because those are the people keep me in work. He woke her then, and trembling and obedient, she ate that burning heart out of his hand. Weeping, I saw him then depart from me.
Tonight is the scene of the opera, which is very exciting because it's actually a piece of Dante's sonnet that's never been put to music. Actually, Dante's never been put to music before.
We could have just selected an opera, but I thought it was kind of interesting because I wanted the opera to be reflect somehow Hannibal.
We had Hans Zimmer 2 weeks before we started shooting, and this was just 5 weeks ago now. So the first thing, Hans is just getting off of Mission Impossible because he's been working 24 hours a day for weeks on end. And the thing that we needed most out of Hans was the piece for tonight, because we really needed something to be able to stage, to be able to costume, to be able to cast, to be able to get, you know, full production value. So Hans said, okay, let me see what I can do. So he and Patrick Cassidy, who works with him, came up with this fabulous piece of music to put to Dante's sonnet from La Vita Nuova. What's exciting about tonight is that we are shooting in this beautiful place next to the church, the Santa Croce, and it's actually the chapel of the Pazzi family. So as you know, Pazzi and this whole thing of Florence, the whole history of Florence, and why really we're shooting here is that it's a closed city with great history of tragedy, of medieval violence, and just lots of things always happening between the Medici families and the other families, and hate and jealousy, and kind of what Lecter has always appreciated is this culture that Italy has so profoundly in its soil that he's wanted. He likes this fine life.
We looked at the Opera House in Florence, but it wasn't quite enough for me. And I was standing in the courtyard next to a church, which was to become the location for us. And I was looking at the courtyard, and at one end of the courtyard was a fantastic facade, beautiful facade. And I said, we should do it here. Why don't we use the facade of the building as the backdrop of the proscenium of the opera? Let's just get some yards of this translucent metallic fabric and hang them on wires, and that's it. With the opera singers at the front, and you have a ready-made set.
It took everybody, you know, because you kept replaying the music, replay as you do every single take. Everyone, every single take, just still loved that haunting melody.
No, man, you don't want to. Like you're drunk and seeing double. Hey, this is mine.
It was really outrageous. You know, we made a lot of jokes because obviously it's pretty far-fetched stuff. But we actually had a wonderful time shooting it all.
Certainly, technically, it's very, very interesting to watch. I mean, the work that they've done is kind of amazing. It's pretty, you know, it's pretty far out there. I mean, it really.
That's funny.
So which one did you pull?
That. Who's real?
Right here.
It was just amazing to watch myself working with Anthony Hopkins in character. It's like it's really a great experience.
Is the top of the head already gone, or do you want it spraying in with the thing?
The worst part of the whole thing was getting the body cast done. When they put you in the body cast and they have to do all that stuff, because I'm claustrophobic, so that wasn't fun. No, it's just not real. I'm bigger than I thought, though. Yeah, I think they'll remember this one.
Some of it is a bit grisly, but we, like any film, if you have, especially in a situation like that, you have to take it very lightly and not get caught up in it.
This is for the blue screen. So when you see me, now obviously they're on the dummy, so they'll do the cutting of the brain. Anthony Lecter will cut the brain and do everything that needs to be done that he was doing. But when you see me with the top of my head like this, then you'll see this. So they'll, like, I don't know, CGI, is that what it's called? Right. Yeah. The brain onto this thing, and I guess this is their mat. I played people who are older, so I've aged in movies, and that's more horrifying. That's even scarier when you see yourself. Oh my God, that's what it's gonna look like, huh? And then they had to shave. See, they shaved my head too completely, which I hadn't done, and I really hadn't. I never noticed my hairline was that far back. I didn't really notice that. I've been covering it for years. I mean, I don't know if this could really happen. I mean, definitely not. Well, I guess it could, but so we're just kind of playing and creating our own little world and thinking what might have happened and how you would look, and then, you know, it's also a movie, so there's, you know, there's a certain. I mean, talk about, you know, acting and playing pretend. You can't play bigger pretend than this. I mean, this is really. It was gross, it was cool, it was like, wow, I'm in a movie with him, well, there I am acting with him. There was just so many different emotions, but the biggest thing was a giddy joy of just movie making, and I said, oh my God, they're gonna be eating my brain now. Oh, look at that, how cool.
It's very weird. Very, very weird.
Tommaso, toma, tira su.
These are all Russian boars, and they are the tallest and lankiest of all the boar. About 7 or 8 months ago, there was rumors of this movie, Hannibal. So we started looking for pigs, and it all sounded feasible, and we knew we could find them. And they pulled the trigger, I think, in March, and said, go get them, because this was one whole sequence that they were very worried, and still are worried since we haven't shot a frame of it. But they wanted to make sure that all will work. You know, they're meant to be killer pigs, but animals don't act. So you're always in a predicament. You want them to be aggressive, but not too aggressive. Anthony is supposed to walk right through them. Well, they don't know Anthony. So how do you make them aggressive, but to the point where he can still go through them? So it's a tightrope. What we've done is actually train them to go to a dummy and grab onto it. And essentially it's just like a retrieve with a dog. You throw something out there and they go get it and shake it or whatever. That's what we've trained these guys to do. So what they do is we have a lot of prosthetic bodies, and they'll run and grab it and shake it and carry it. And once they do that, initially it's just very quickly for like a split second, and then you feed them. And then over time, you progressively make that time longer. And now they'll stand there for like a minute and shake and bite and tear at it, and then we feed them. And everybody goes, oh, well, they just put meat on the body. That doesn't really work, and we will do that at some point, but what will happen is they'll just stand there and eat. So they had to be taught to really shake and tear at things. And then what we've done is now we've transferred that to a person. We used the stunt coordinator, Phil Nielsen, and had them grab him, and have had him do it for about a week and a half now. And they actually jerk him off his feet and run around with him, really. When we know they're going to work, we put them in their stall, we tell them what we want them to do, and then we go away and we give them like 15 minutes to practice it, and we leave it at that.
What I want to do is go from here in a fast move, right up, hit the top, and as we do, she walks in.
Hold it. Let's do the timing.
Okay, here we go.
Ready, faster, much faster.
Much faster, guys.
240 miles faster.
Oh my God, much faster. Much faster.
Oh, we're extremely lucky that Ridley said yes, because what he's brought to the project, and it's tenfold what you could possibly imagine.
And actually have Tony go
with him,
pan with him, and wait here.
Julianne could come
and
here.
Julianne comes in here, end of speed, starts to look in that direction. Maybe there, Dr. Lecter. Damn, but can hear the band. So it goes through that way.
Ridley is a genius. He's very intelligent. He never screams with anybody. He's a fantastic guy.
Don't help.
And that's when he goes.
He's the sort of director who trusts actors. He expects me, I might sign a contract actor, and he signs a contract director. He trusts that I'm going to know my job, and he makes suggestions. That's all it is. A director doesn't shout at an actor saying, you do it this way. Only a fool would do that. No more than I would tell him where to put the camera. Some actors do that. They ruin films. So I trust that he knows his job, and he trusts that I know mine. I mean, with this part, he said to a member of the crew one day, he was saying, let's try this. And he said, well, Tony knows the part, so let him decide. It was a polite way of saying, you know, he knows what he's talking about.
There were no surprises with Ridley in as much, you know, he's prepared, you know, is a master at it, and a total visionary.
He really surprised me when I met him. I don't know what I expected quite, but he's very soft-spoken, you know, really gentle guy. He's bright, he's quick, incredibly detail-oriented. I mean, he does so much stuff himself. I'll walk onto the set and he'll be kind of like moving papers around, sticking something here, sticking something there, and he'll look through the lens, do this, do that, and the other thing. And he's a real pleasure. Whenever you feel any kind of tension in a scene, whenever you're worried about something that you're doing, really manages to adjust everything and just kind of, you know, fill up the whole thing. It's great.
He knows exactly what he wants. He likes to have very particular images with a shadow, a particular angle of the face. He's a wonderful director, and it's very exciting to work with him.
He reminds me sometimes of Fellini. Because, you know, Fellini have a script in his hand, and when he go into stage to shoot, he creates something new in every shot. Because, you know, you have two ways to make a movie. You make the movie like the script, day by day, put together, shot together, or you create a day-by-day movie, and then you have a different movie. This is what Fellini did in his time. It is what Ridley does.
He's very practical. No airs and graces about him. There's no mystery. He doesn't want to talk about it or pontificate about it or analyze it. He says, right, he said, why don't you come through that door and then go to the table and cut his head off or whatever he says. He said, all right? Yeah, all right, let's do it. Action. Print, okay, cut. Do you want to do another one? Yeah, all right. Yeah, just do one more, a bit faster maybe. Cut, okay, check the gate onwards. A good director will either tell you faster or slower. That's a good director. Maybe do it a bit faster, or maybe don't do it too fast. That's a good director. All the rest, all the hogwash of talking about it, analyzing it, is just such a waste of time. Rehearsing it and analyzing it, waste of time. For me it is. Faster or slower, that's a good director.